Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Got a great broadcast lineup for you tonight. Actually got an outstanding broadcast lineup for you tonight. My headphones are not sounding right to me. I must be doing something wrong on my end. How sound to y'all, man? Everything sound good? How do I sound?
Sound good.
Good deal. Yeah,
Everything's good.
Okay, good deal. Well, listen, we got a great broadcast lineup for you tonight. This is Real Men Being Men. We doing what we always do, something called Four Square Conversation. We have four different topics, and we talk about them 30 minutes apiece. Four different topics, talk about them 30 minutes apiece, and we try to get as deep into them as we can. And we try to talk about them in their entirety. That's how we do that thing. Now, we got a great panel already in place right now. Let me make sure I got everybody here. Let me see. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing somebody. But let me go around. We're going to start off by first letting everybody introduce themselves. We're going to go to you first. She, tell everybody who you are and where you're hailing from.
Man, this is Rashid calling from the Detroit, Michigan, representing the blackout day. Make sure y'all don't spend no money today.
Yes, sir.
I hope y'all ain't messed it up already. We're not spending today. We're wearing all black today in unity, ready to go.
Well, see, you saying white or black, and I'm sitting there with a red shirt on. Lord, my Jesus, what's really going on? Somebody help me, somebody. But listen, yeah, and my heart is in the right place. My heart is definitely in the right place. Let's go to Don. Don, tell everybody who you are and where you're hailing from, brother.
Hey, how you doing? This is Don Shira. I'm a writer and an actor, composer, and I'm from Atlanta.
Good deal. Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay, Toussaint.
So, yeah, my name is Donald Toussaint. I'm from Opelousas, Louisiana, and I live in Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Oh my Lord! Look at all these names, man. Look, why don't you go to a city that only have 5 or 6 letters in it, man? Why your city got to have 10 or 12, 15 letters in it, man? We don't. Huh? All these different letters, man, and you got 15 letters in your name and all, man. We can't deal with all that. That's too much, man. Okay, now I think we just lost Leonard. Hopefully Leonard's gonna call back in. We got Leonard with us as well, but we're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off, and I'm gonna ask this first question. And Sheed, I'm gonna come to you, man, because I really want to hear your heart on this right here, and I want you to tell me. Hold on, let me make sure. Hold on, check my volume. See it? Check. Okay, now. Sheed, first question is to you.
Nervous.
No, don't be nervous. You got this. How has drugs changed the black community? How have drugs changed the black community?
Tremendously. When I look at the history of it, or just the little bit that I'm aware of, I definitely. How can you forget the crack era in the early 80s when Reagan came into office? That's just what I remember as a young boy and what it did to my community in particular. But from what I understand, what it did to our people as a whole, we were a people who were really reeling. We still are. And it was the perfect injection, if you will, of negativity to try to destroy us. Just one of the many tactics that was used against us to keep us down or to take us out. It didn't work because we're still here, but it was impactful. I mean, I'm not gonna say we lost an entire generation, but it really negatively impacted an entire generation of African Americans and black people, man. And that's just crack. That's not. I'm not even touching the surface of all these drugs. I mean, it seems like it's so easy when you are oppressed, when you're falling upon tough times, when things are rough, when things are hard. It's so easy to medicate the problem. And drugs have become what drugs was, that medication. It was that soother. It was that thing that that we ran to make things so that we wouldn't have to deal with reality. It was
Okay.
an escape. Huh?
We getting some feedback on somebody's line. Let me see. Trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Somebody's running the broadcast along with listening to it, I believe, or something on another device or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. I think we fixed. I think we fixed it. Okay. I think we got it. Go ahead, Sheila. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and we see it. We see it in a major way right now, especially with the legalization of marijuana. I see a lot of my people really impacted by marijuana, and we're in denial, man. I mean, you got people walking around can't remember what happened yesterday, but they swear up and down that it don't affect the brain cells.
Yeah.
They talking slow, they walking slow, they moving slow. Everything they do is slow, but they swear up and down that marijuana, which has been scientifically proven to affect brain cells, they want to play semantics with you and say, well, it doesn't kill the brain cells, but when you study up on it, it does. It's been confirmed that it does negatively affect them, and we can see by the results of it that it does. And some of my people, man, we wake up in the morning, we smoke weed for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, weed, man, and it's an escape. It's an escape, and I think that that it's not a healthy one.
Exactly.
And it's unfortunate that we've turned to it, but yeah, it's definitely impacted our community in a negative way.
Good deal. Let's go to Toussaint. What do you say to that, man? What impact? How have drugs changed the Black community? What do you say to that, Donald?
Let me be a little. I guess we call it transparent. I've done some things.
Okay.
But I didn't let things control me.
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe that it's we're so easy to influence. You know what I mean? Because we don't bring. I don't think it's us that bring it in the neighborhood. But whatever comes to the neighborhood that seems like it gives us some sort of a sense of relief away from reality, we jump in on it. And I don't know if it's just us, because it's not. But since we're talking about us, I think that sometimes we feel like, I don't want to deal with reality, so I'm just gonna get high. You know what I'm saying? The frustration of being in the neighborhood. I don't want to call it the hood, the neighborhood. Escape possibly poverty, daddy not being there, not being able to do this, not being able to do that. So I'ma just be tripping through life.
Okay.
You can't get no good job. You can work at McDonald's, or there's nothing wrong with that now.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a job where they can pull your hair out your head.
Exactly.
Or and you still keep the job. But we don't want that. We don't want that. Or it seems like we don't want that. But we always talking about we want a good job.
Yeah.
It's me, but I think it's an escape. Just like right now, what's going on. You think that we would come together and say, okay, we're gonna stop a bunch of foolishness in light of what's going on, but you watch the tube and Facebook or the internet, and you see the same type of foolishness going on. It don't make no sense. Understand it.
Exactly. And so I'm hearing it, and I want to touch everybody else involved in this as well. Don, I think Don is having some issues with his internet connection, so he may be calling in. But let me come to you. How have drugs changed the Black community? What do you say to that?
Well, you know, look at it from different ways. I can tell you how black people who use drugs changed the community, changed, or how black people who sold drugs changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what Toussaint said. I'm not one of those big person about drugs and this, that. I've tried all types of drugs. So, I mean, it wasn't never a big deal to me. However, I've seen a lot of weak people try drugs and fail.
Mm-hmm.
If you started weak, you just weak.
Mm-hmm.
Accept that fact and change that fact as opposed to blaming it on the drug.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the black community failed, is because the black community refused to take responsibility for their behavior. Not so much as the drug, but refusal to take responsibility for your behavior will lead you down a horrible road. I don't blame Rashid or nobody else for the or Toussaint for the mistakes I've made in my life. It's not about white men bringing the drugs in the community or anything like that for me. It's about what I choose to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I sit right next to people smoking crack. I don't smoke crack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Been in crack houses, uncles, the majority of my family, drugs, prison, all that. But they still were family. They were just people with problems and issues. And a majority of the time, they did not want to change. So I grew up with these people as my loved ones, whom I was just, treated like everybody else. But they were addicted to drugs.
Mm-hmm.
They sold drugs. They did all these types of things, but we still held them responsible.
Yeah, exactly. And let me say this, it's hard for me to grab onto, and I know what you said, and I know what you meant, and I know you're hard on it, but it's hard for me to grasp onto a person being just try drugs, and the weak ones are the ones that fall to the wayside. I think that what they put in those drugs, and everything involved in that. Call a mutual line for me. We're gonna come to you in just 1 second. I think they have a way of pulling you in, and even the strong could become weak if they indulge or get involved with those drugs. And I could be wrong. What do you say to that?
You had a choice to leave it right there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Okay, don't forget it, because you had a choice to leave it alone.
Yeah. And that may be their moment of weakness when they decide, the strong person, that may be their very moment of weakness right there when they decide to partake in it. But what's on your heart?
Well, I mean, I think it is weak to indulge in drugs and become a slave to it. I think it's weak to become a slave to anything. Sometimes we try so hard to paint this rosy picture of ourselves. We would like to. We're not honest with ourselves. Hey, man, listen, it's a beautiful thing to admit when you're weak.
That's right.
Yeah, there are times when I have been weak in my life, and the key to me recovering was first me acknowledging that, hey, man, I'm weak right now, and can't get no help unless you admit to being weak. So I totally agree with Leonard, man. It's not a permanent state, because Leonard said first you got to acknowledge it, and then you got to change it. So no matter how strong you may think you are, man, if you're succumbing to drugs, that's a weakness. That's exposing weakness in you. And I'm not here to make excuses for you. That's something you got to climb out of, and you need Christ to do it.
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Don. Don, what do you say? I'm gonna refer to you.
One more thing. I said you need Christ to do it. What the scripture say? His strength is made perfect in weakness. Come on.
Yes, sir. Come on now. Good.
Put that in there.
There you go. Don, what do you say to that, man? How have drugs changed the black community?
I'll tell you, I think we have needed something, always have needed something to kind of hold us together. And I think because of the pressures of our lives and just being black, many people resort to alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. I think the drug issue is even more severe because you get on it and it's almost impossible to get off unless you get help, and we're not a help-oriented, group of people. We don't want anybody to help. We want nobody to help us do anything. We should be able to do. If I don't feel like I'm a man in any other front seam, I can feel like a man, and taking care of myself. So we don't want to get help. And I think that has been our downfall too. I'm sure there's somebody listening right now who struggles with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And whether other people know it or not, because you can be doing it and nobody even knows it, but you know it. But after a while, it's really getting the best of you. Always like it's gnawing at you and everything. And sometimes you need to go and get some help. So yeah, it's really hurt us so much. And I like TV and movies and stuff like that, but almost every movie that you look at is centered around drug culture, and especially us in the drug culture. So it's all around, and it's, even though it looks kind of sad, it's kind of glorified, because it's for somebody, it's going to help make them some money, and so I think it's hurt us so much because the use of it and the abuse of trying to sell it to other people and use it as a way to excel in the world. That's our way we become economically mobile. Many people is, well, let's just, hey, they're gonna buy it anyway, may as well buy it from me, kind of thing. And it's almost a mentality of survival, and it's definitely hurt us.
Now, she, and we got a caller. We're gonna come to you in just 1 second. But she, do you think a lot of times, to Don's point, a lot of people look at it as their way of coming up, not knowing it, or not necessarily even caring about what it's doing to the community?
Well, as a way of coming up, you talking about the distributors.
Yes, the drug dealers.
You talking about the dealers of it. Yeah, I mean, listen, I can understand why people get into that. I mean, I was very tempted. I had a real rough past. You guys, I'll leave you guys with your mouths agaped, telling you things that I've been through. But one thing I've never done, in spite of all of the temptation and the coercion to do it, I've never sold drugs, never done drugs. And I thank God for that. I don't want to say I'm proud of that. I think it was only by the grace of God that I was able to escape it, because it was all around me.
Absolutely.
And a lot of my peers indulged, but I just didn't. I just never had a desire to. And even though I was, tempted and encouraged to do it, I never did it. But I understand the appeal. I understand how it can be tough to turn away from when you consider the money, when you consider the glamour, when you consider the respect that the people give you as a result of the power that you have been endowed with as a result of being the dope man. It's tough to resist. But I'm not making excuses for those who indulge. Even though it's tough to resist, it's not impossible. It can be done, and it should be done. But I can definitely understand, when people succumb to it, but they got to come out of that, man, because it really, I don't know too many people who have survived that without either, well, I guess if you die, you didn't survive, but the end result usually is you're going to wind up dead or in jail. Absolutely. So you have to make better decisions, and it's tough when you put behind the 8 ball, because you may have a record, you may have a felony or something, so you can't get a job. Job opportunities in the hood are scarce anyway. The educational system, when you consider the systemic racism, which is a real thing that holds a lot of people down, a lot of times they feel like selling drugs is the only avenue where they can survive. So, I mean, I get it, but I still think even with all of that, we can pull on the Lord to grace us, to strengthen us, and we can overcome to the point where we don't have to succumb, and we can resist the temptation to indulge in that.
Exactly. And we have a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Aaron Evans calling from High Point, North Carolina.
Aaron, how you doing, sir?
Doing all right, man. We started late calling, man. I had to get my baby girl to sleep.
There you go. We're asking a question. We got 4 square conversation. Our first question is this right here. How have drugs changed the black community? Aaron, what do you say to that?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. You know, one side of the sword is what the previous man was talking about, where you got a certain group of people who get all the quote-unquote credibility because of the alleged perceived perception of riches and power. And people want to tap into that. You know, people don't want to be broke. People don't want to be impoverished. People want to be wealthy. People want to be rich, or what they perceive as rich on the outside, and not realizing of what is robbing you on the inside. The other side is the fact that it has basically destroyed the African American community. You know, fathers not in the home, they're incarcerated, possibly because of drug use or drug abuse, or they were drug dealing. The mothers are not held in the esteem anymore. You know, you get more respect for being a baby mama than you do for being a wife. You know, because of the father's not there. And a man, instead of being a good man because he comes home to his family every day, he gets the credibility of being a stud because he has 3, 4, maybe even 5 baby mamas instead of having one wife, which scripture says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and favor. So, but the drug scene has really, you know, dilapidated our neighborhoods. People, you know, we've fallen so far from grace. If you look at how Black Wall Street was, you know, and there was only one Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. There were several. There were several, and if you go to every state in the union, you possibly could have found a Black Wall Street in that state. But because of the allure of drugs, because of the allure of riches, because of the allure of respect, because of the allure of power, it went from having a Black Wall Street to a dilapidated black corner, to where everything occurred on a corner. And unfortunately, the church took a back seat. They condemned from afar rather than going ye all the lands and preaching the gospel. You know, but the funny thing about it is even drug dealers pay tithes.
Wow. That's good. Everybody mute your line for me so we don't have that background noise going on. And we got another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Dad.
Hey, Mary. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. We're asking a question. How have drugs changed the black community? What do you say to that? How have drugs changed the black community?
Cannot speak on that. I don't have insight on that.
You don't have input on that?
I don't.
Okay. We're gonna keep this thing going. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Oh, I'm just listening because, you know, I really, you know, I guess there's a very passionate part about me when it relates to people making choices. And I've never been into the conversation, anything like that, really about the black community, so to speak. I was born and raised in a community of people. It wasn't about color. We just treated each other with common decency. And everybody was black. I mean, I had white neighbors, I think, you know, that had been there, but I was raised predominantly in African-American communities, and I never saw then, I guess what I see now, as where some people are looking at the community as a whole, as opposed to individuals. And because my mother always pointed that out to me, even though you may be a welfare case, you don't have to behave like one.
That's good.
And you know, a lot of people take me the wrong way sometimes. But I'm just going to honestly, I was not raised to not like myself. I was not raised to think less of myself. I was raised to take personal responsibility and not blame my foolishness on other people. And that one, I need to contribute to my community and be a decent citizen. That's how I was raised. My church preached that, and that's how we lived.
That's good.
We didn't have pity parties and things like that. You know, you don't get a pass because your daddy ain't in the home. You don't get a pass to be an idiot simply because you don't like something or this, that, and the other. There's a way you should behave.
Okay, that's good. That's good. And let me do this. I want to give the phone number because we got quite a few people that's tuning in. 678-381-1973. 678-381-1973. We got 3 more topics we're gonna cover tonight. This is 4 Square Conversation. Real men being men. We have 4 Square Conversation. Our first square is how have drugs changed the Black community? We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Rico calling from Anderson, Alabama.
Rico, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
I can't complain, man. Just got in and caught you a little late, but I'm trying to get tuned in and caught up now.
Man, I'm glad you're here, brother. How have drugs changed the Black community?
It's demoralized our values and open the door for us to I'll say sell our souls a little easier. And in so many aspects, it opened the door for people to condone selling their bodies because the dope guys got the money, and I mean it's a trickle down effect of the negativity, but it just mainly the biggest aspect of it just demoralized us in more than one department in our community. It made us accept negative behavior, condone illegal behavior. I mean, because at one point in time, well, not one point in time, right now, it's still sort of cool to be a dope boy. They're rapped about and glorified. And that's totally backwards.
Exactly. Don, what's on your heart? Don, Sherrod, what's on your heart, brother? I think Sherrod is he frozen over there? Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? I think Don is frozen. Oh, and Rico, I sent you the link if you want to come into the video side, man. I sent you the link too.
Hey, I'm trying to get on that now.
All right, good deal. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
You know what I think about a lot of times in the grace.
That's right.
When I look at those that have been overwhelmed by drugs or whatever, I think about grace, because I said, if it was not for the grace of God, there go I.
That's right, Tucson.
It's not because I'm too smart or you know, or whatever the case may be. If it wasn't for God's grace, little bit of transparency. Anytime you do something with embalming fluid in it, and it don't take you out, you got favor or something over your life.
Amen. Something.
You know what I'm saying? You come across you so toe up that you going 120 miles an hour down the highway, a 2-lane, and cross a 4-lane, and you still here to talk about it. It's nothing but the grace of God. But these things that overwhelm our community, notice one thing: it doesn't come from the community. It comes from somewhere else and brought in. A lot of times I just saw this plane crash with 800 and something pounds of cocaine. It's thrown into the country and comes into the neighborhood.
Where did it crash to, son?
Leonard, what? Leonard.
Lord. Hey, if it crash, Leonard, let me just say this: if it crash, it's already burning. So all you got to do is take it.
Lord. Look here. Hey, Sherrod, you with us, brother? Sherrod?
Think about
You got him on mute. He on mute.
Oh, he on mute? Hold on for a minute. No. He had to unmute it from his end. Sherrod, unmute your phone, brother. There, unmute your phone. In the meantime, while he's doing that sheet, what's on your heart, brother?
I think Sherrod was asleep, but
Boy, y'all showing out tonight.
Go ahead. What's on my heart? You weren't muted because the mouth wasn't moving. But what was on my heart? He used the word grace. Man, we ain't got time to talk about what was on my heart because he triggered something in me when he said grace. And I'm kind of piggybacking on something that Leonard was saying. Leonard got me going this morning, talking about choices and
hey, it's night, right?
Huh?
It's night, right?
You about to cut me off, ain't you?
No, no. You said Leonard got me going this morning. I said, it's night, don't you? I'm just. I want to make
sure. Did I say this morning?
Yeah, I want to make sure your clock ain't broke. ain't broke.
I was asleep too. I'm right there with Jerome. But that's what I get for talking about it.
Yes, sir.
But that grace, sometimes we misunderstand what grace actually is and does. It's the grace of God that gives you the strength.
Come on.
To do what you wouldn't otherwise be able to do without it. That's why the scripture says, "Be strong in the grace." Sometimes we get grace and we don't do anything with it. But God gives you the ability to resist temptation.
Come on.
To do His will, to walk uprightly. Just because they put drugs in the community, nobody forced you to smoke it.
Yeah.
Nobody forced you to sell it. That was a decision that we made, and frankly, I'm a little disappointed at a lot of our people who put us in that position. It's easy to say that the white man did it, but it could have stopped right there. But we decided to indulge and not take advantage of the grace that God has given us to resist. The grace, when you look up every single word grace in the New Testament, it's the Greek word charis.
Yes.
And it actually means the divine influence or impartation upon the heart and its reflection in the life. It's talking about strength, divine strength that God gives is much greater than our strength that He endows upon you to do something. He gives you the strength to do something. And so we have to take advantage of that and do what God has called for us to do with that strength or with that grace that He has given us to do it.
Good deal. And we're going to go into our second square. About to go into our second square. And let me see who. Let's go to. We just lost Rico. I'm going to go to Rico. Something going on with his line. Hopefully he'll be back with us in a second. But Tucson, coming to you with the second square. Unmute your phone there. Good deal. Now, this is the day, and she said something about this earlier before we got started, to make sure that we don't spend any money today. This is a cash-free day. Don't spend no money. Okay, so I'm asking the question, are we mindful? Because we are the Black community, Black and brown community. We are the biggest consumers out there. They depend on us. So are we mindful of how we spend our money?
No, we free will spenders.
We
free. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do with mine. That's our attitude. You can't tell me what to do. I don't care if you're black, white, green, purple, yellow. And that's why most of us, we don't have nothing. It is what it is. We spend even don't have. Go a little further.
Yeah.
We'll spend somebody else's. We'll borrow what we need and spend on foolishness.
Yeah, yeah. And
You know, not we party all week long, and when it get time to pay the light bill,
I get
mama, daddy,
party
uncle,
all the
sister,
time,
brother.
party all the time, party all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, Eddie Murphy came out in me. She said, "No, don't do that."
There it is.
There you
That's
go.
the attitude. And you can't tell me what get in trouble. And when I get in trouble, then I'm begging.
Yeah, exactly. And see, and the thing about it is, and I heard somebody say this a while back. They say we will buy what we want and beg for what we need. We'll spend money on what we want and beg for what we need. And that's we can't be that. We can't be those people. We can't be the people that will do that. Rico, what do you say to that? Are we mindful, Rico, on how we spend our money?
Say that again.
Are we mindful as to how we spend our money?
Some are not for the. I mean, for the most part, I don't think we are. But you have some that are mindful of how they spend their money, but it really is indicative of how a lack of guidance, a direction, a mentorship. Sometimes we don't have enough mentorship. I'm reading that in my Marcus Garvey book about how he says that we have to pick up the slack on teaching our children what they don't learn at home from the parents. And our parents don't really spend a lot of time at home teaching us about credit, financial wealth. They don't teach us about principal and interest. There's a lot of stuff that we don't learn at home. And so right now I can see that for the most part, we have a lot of well-paid people that's working good jobs, but they're living their best lives and not living smart. They're taking a trip to the Dominican and going to get their butt lifts and, everything to be fabulous. That's what it's all about now, the image.
Good deal. Good. What do you say to that, man? Are we mindful as to how we spend our money?
I think it's fascinating when you examine the history of blacks in America. I think it's nothing short of fascinating. When you consider everything that they did to us from slavery. I mean, even slavery alone was enough, but the way they stripped us from our families and separated our families and castrated us and killed us, and they did everything in their power, from slavery to Willie Lynch to Jim Crow, mass incarceration, you name it, all the way down the line for 400 years to completely. They tried to destroy us, but we're still here. But because of what happened, we are so fractured. Now, please don't hear an excuse with what I'm saying. But I think it's fascinating because you see the results of it. Of course, there are exceptions. Of course, we have people who are stronger, who have overcome a little better than others, right? But then you have so many of us who are still reeling, who are still struggling as a result of the systemic racism from generation to generation passed on. When you have fathers and you have the leaders of communities and the leaders of families taken away, stripped of their families, and you cause the families to just fend for themselves and figure out who they are, find their identity, versus a family who's healthy, who were never stripped from their family, who had the opportunity to teach and train and build legacies and develop wealth and pass on wealth and information and education and all of these things. We weren't allowed to have an education once upon a time. So when you consider all of this for 400 years of all of this oppression and injustice, and you bring us to where we are now, it's no wonder that when we finally get something, we act like the undisciplined people that we are. When you don't have parents, when you have broken families and dysfunctional units like that, that's what it's going to produce. It's going to produce an undisciplined people who don't know too much and is trying to just fend for themselves. And you give them something, they're going to consume it upon that. That's what we're consumers. We consume it upon our own lust because we don't know no better, because we have not been taught. And I'm talking about in a general sense. Now, don't hear me say that that's all of us. I'm just saying I can see how we have gotten to the place that we're in. It's not mind-boggling to me. When I look at the history, I can see how we got here. The question is, how are we going to break free from this?
Come on.
And really walk out that deliverance and advance to a healthy place where we can be on our feet and be disciplined and level the playing field and walk in the power that we have been ordained to walk in.
That's good. That's good. 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. Again, 678-381-1973. Give us a call. The phone lines are open. As a matter of fact, let me go to the phone lines. Mary, what do you say to that? Are we mindful as to how we spend our money? What do you say to that, Mary? Mary, are you there? Okay, we have 404 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Atlanta. This is Don.
Don, yes sir, yes sir. Don, are we mindful as to how we spend our money?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I totally agree with what the other the brothers just before me right now, the two just said. I mean, just spelled it out. And no, because we haven't been taught that from a youth up. You know, what we are taught is to try to get a good job so that you can make it, so that you can survive. And if you can have a nice home and a nice car and send your kids to school and have something to show to the world around that your education has paid off, or that, you know, your training has paid off, then your folks are satisfied with you and you'll be satisfied with yourself.
Okay.
But see, that's just like a microcosm of the whole economic universe. Whereas other people are thriving and continuing to grow and leaving things to their children's children, and where the curve is more exponential now, that you know, we really fear when we look at our kids and grandkids compared to many who have been taught this, have not been deprived, have been taught how to use economics and the capitalist way all their lives. And we just, it gets to us, you know, because we're not on an equal footing. We never will be on an equal footing, but we have to start and try to repair, as Brother said from Marcus Garvey, we have to try to repair whatever we can with each other, you know. And what is
that process? What is that process like?
I think really I think we just always just need to get some economic training. I think we just need to, we need to, Dr. Boyce, I think I got his name right. I'm not really sure.
Dr. Boyce, Dr. Boyce. I know who you're talking about.
Dr. Boyce. Dr. Boyce is starting a program now for 7 to 14-year-olds where they start learning. They go to school basically online to learn economics. And I said, oh gosh, that's the most powerful thing in the universe right now. And so we can either stay where we are and bemoan and decry all the things that didn't happen to us, or we have to just take up that yoke, you know, and say, okay, hey, I know what I deal with, and my whole mentality about buying and spending and everything else, but I want to make it better for my children and my children's children. To try to do something, get some help.
Hey.
Exactly.
Can I butt in on that for a second?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I know I listen to Dr. Boyce too, and Claude Anderson, and I agree with the economic thing wholeheartedly. But I realize without us having a real sense of purpose of why, I mean, like I'm gonna go back a little bit. we know that getting a higher education is the best thing to do. I went to college, but I didn't know my real purpose. I was just told that I needed to do it because it was the best thing for me. I still didn't have an example to go by. So now I also knew that I needed to be financially efficient. I needed to be an economic powerhouse at some point. And I knew that was important, just like most women always knew that they needed to have a man that was a good provider. But I still didn't understand the values or purpose of why I needed it. I just knew I needed to do it. And so not going in with the right value system, when you learn these economics, will produce a greedy drug dealer. Because that's actually what made a drug dealer prevalent, is the fact that they needed to find a way to get that income fast. They didn't learn the value of getting it the long way or the honest way. They just knew that over time, from integration and beyond, all they knew is that they needed to have something to be able to provide and give a woman, and a woman knew that they needed a man that was going to be able to provide. But over decades, it dwindled, the standards diminished. So that's why after a while, the dope dealer became favorable. The pimp became favorable. The rebel became favorable because we did have an economic understanding, but we didn't have any values tied to it.
That's good. That's good. Let me go to Aaron. Aaron, what's on your heart, man? Are we mindful as to how we spend our money?
Well, we are mindful of how we spend our money. We're probably one of the most loyal demographic of consumers out there. We buy something we like, oh, we gonna buy it. Whether it's shoes, whether it's a purse, whether it's cars, we gonna buy it. We just ain't mindful of how we supposed to use our money. We're not mindful of how to invest. We're not mindful of how to save. And to keep it 100% real, some folk ain't even mindful on how to tithe. The Lord said, bring all tithes into the storehouse, so there'll be meat in mine house. And then he tests you. Test me in this, and see if that I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing so large that you cannot receive it. But yet, the new Jordans will come out, and every brother in the hood who got at least $300 gone to the store to get the Jordans. Now, I have Jordans. I do. But I ain't buying the same shoe that I bought in 1996 in 2020 for $400. I'm not doing that. I don't already had them shoes. I don't need them no more.
I got you. Good
deal.
You
know, I didn't buy the Jordans to walk around in and do nothing. I brought them Jordans and I was on the court with them bad boys. So what I'm saying, I watched the man play his 13th season. So I know he basically gave us a blueprint on how to create your own business. Because the Air Jordan product line, well, let me rephrase that. The Air Jordan company, which is a subsidiary of Nike, is the most profitable product line that Nike has. It is so profitable that the Air Jordan line itself makes products for other sports other than basketball.
Good deal.
So he's giving you a blueprint on how. You just don't go work at a company. You go to the company and you move up to become CEO. So then, you know, you go higher. You just don't walk in and say, all right, I'm here. What good is that going to do? They didn't get anybody to do that. But we got to be mindful as a community. That's why I keep going back to Black Wall Street. That's what we did. We had our own businesses. We had our doctor's offices. We had accounting offices. We had lawyers' offices, real estate offices. You know, we could have rebuilt, but somebody said earlier, systematic oppression would not let us build because we were becoming too powerful. We were proving to them, hey, we don't need y'all. We can create what we want. We can create what we need.
Exactly.
And what we need to go back to it. There was on the last point, there was a grocery store here in High Point that was closing. And people got mad that it was closing. And a pastor said, why are you mad about the store closing? Won't y'all put y'all money together, buy the store and keep it open? That's what we would have done in the 1930s and the 1940s and 1950s. That's what we would have done. But nobody did that. Store closed.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think we have Cornelius. Are you with us, sir? Cornelius.
Yes, sir. I'm here, man.
Hey, what's going on, Cornelius? How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man.
Good.
All is well. How about you?
Hey, doing good. Are we mindful as to how we spend our money, Cornelius? Man, put that D sign down, man.
I've been on for a minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you before you say something. Cornelius, Sheed is over here putting a D sign for Detroit up on the screen, man. He I don't know what's going on with it, man. I don't know what's going on, but you know that must be some kind of inside.
All I can say was as I say from the D, what up, though?
Good deal, good deal. Are we mindful?
You know, that's the only city that say that. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
what
yeah.
Up, though? What up, though?
Hey, look here. Y'all got a patent on that thing. So are y'all saying that Saginaw can't say that? Because we got a brother from Saginaw here now.
Saginaw ain't Detroit.
I don't know if you know about that saying though.
Yeah, that's what it was. What up, though?
Okay. All right. Deal. What up, though?
Me and my boys still do that. We're still talking like that. So you know.
Yeah. So y'all still talk country. Okay. Anyway, hey, Cornelius,
okay,
are we mindful as to how we spend our money?
You know, as I was listening to everybody, because I've been on for a minute, and you know, like the brother said earlier, she spelled it all out, man. It's just kind of, you know, I don't want to go over everything that he has said because he did it so profoundly, but I'm gonna go this route with it. I'm gonna start off with the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And in that, we as a people, when you brought up in that mentality of live for today and hope for tomorrow. When you're growing up and you don't have much, and when you finally start to get a little something, it's hard to maintain that, and because you've been wanting this stuff, you've been seeing everybody else doing it, you've been seeing everybody else have it, so you want what they have.
Okay,
that's that lust of the flesh, and no, the lust of the eyes. You see everybody else seeing this, you see it, so you want what they have, so you want to go out there and get what they got, and not being mindful and using the wisdom that you need to do to build your nest egg, so to speak.
Okay.
It's I think, how does that old saying, the saving go? They said save $1 a day for 300 some days, and you can save like $3,000 or something in a year or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things that where you can put your money back. People used to tell me about that all the time. But then when you want to try to put it back, something comes up. And then you go into your spending and you do whatever the case may be. And then unfortunately, because we live for today and hope for tomorrow, we'll find ourselves in debt.
Yeah.
Because we'll start doing things that will put us even further back. And the next thing you know, you're always chasing. You're always climbing. And before you know it, years done pass by. And I'm saying this from experience. You know, because, man, Thursday, I'm about to be 49 years old, man. I'm almost 50.
Manual.
Yeah, man. I'm catching up there with you, Doc. And I'm just not fine. I'm finally, within the last couple of years since I got married, I'm finally starting to figure that out. But when I was single, it was tough, and stuff that I pushed up on and tried to force to do. It put me in debt that I'm still paying back right now today.
Wow.
For years. Because I didn't be mindful. And the biggest thing is wisdom, man. One thing I learned about when I read in the Bible about wisdom is everyone has a God-given ability to create wealth.
Yes.
But what we do is what they call that we kick against wisdom. Especially when you got people like those guys that's teaching about finances. That's wisdom because they built something.
Exactly.
You got people like yourself. There's someone that has some type of stability in their life is able to kick some wisdom down to you to help build you. But when you so caught up on your own self, then you're never going to be able to get over the hump that you need to get over it. Absolutely. That's just my take on that.
Good deal. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, what do you say to that, man? Are we mindful as to how we spend our money?
I think we're always mindful. I think people spend their money on what they want to spend on. I'm not big on, you know, that whole notion of black business or whatever, but I know how to get black people money. I mean, it's business. Make what people want and they will buy it. I mean, I wouldn't sit around and think about, you know, the person, obviously the black person in business is creating a product to sell to anybody who wants to buy it. And the brother was talking about, you know, things in our community like the Nike shoe brand and things like that. And I couldn't afford them. I never had Air Jordans. I couldn't afford anything like that.
Yeah.
So you know, I ain't lived that life. So I can't even say I've been in on a lot like the cars with the fancy wheels and man, dude, I didn't have that kind of money. You know, and I wasn't selling no dope. You know, because I knew people sell dope, go to jail, or get killed.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
I had to live another life. You know, it wasn't like one, you know, while most guys out there were talking about, I think the thing back then, oh, I can't work for a couple dollars an hour. Well, all right, then I'll see you later. Because I'm about to go to the job.
Work a
You
couple
know what I'm
hours.
saying? I'm going on over here to the job.
Yeah.
Well, you go up, see, I've been a Christian all my life. Wasn't no point in the road where I just changed up the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So I always had had to make these choices. Am I gonna run with the folks that's sure to die shortly? Or am I gonna try to go for the bigger, the longer picture?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it wasn't nothing cool about seeing bodies dead in the street.
Come on.
Wasn't nothing cool about that at all. To me, wasn't nothing cool about me being on my knees and a white man going through my freaking pockets, bro. Wasn't nothing cool about that to me.
Exactly.
So I didn't ever participate in that. A lot of my friends were doing it or what have you, but I'm like, y'all just fools, bro. You throw your life away if you want to. Go and get a white man 20 to 25, and then by the time you get out, then maybe you'll have some sense. But that's how we rocked and rolled back in the day. We didn't sit here and talk about, well, you know, the white man, this, no, bro. You trying to make that paper, you trying to get it, you trying not to get caught. That's just a risk we take. And, you know, as far as spending money, you know, if you live there are some communities that don't have black businesses. Okay. For whatever reason, they don't.
There's some communities. One of the reasons is they won't let black business in their community.
Well, you know, I'm not even gonna buy into that.
Yeah,
I know, I remember the black businesses where Mr. Hogan's owned the corner store, but Negroes burned the store down. I remember all the shops and everything we used to have, but for some reason they got shot up or robbed. I remember all that stuff, but I don't remember no white people involved at all.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, there's some communities that will not allow you to come into their community and start a business. It's just
why would you go into someone else's community and start a business?
Why do they come in our community and start business in our community?
Because y'all gonna spend with them. Because they're not gonna spend with you in your community.
Because the economic value they go there. Maybe you want to go into their community because that's where the money, and they're going to buy the product, or they have the resource to buy the product that you're providing for them, and you don't have to deal with certain situations in other communities. And so
I say, the way business works, if money don't come in, business fails.
The way business is to make money, and in order to make money, sometimes you have to go to another community in order to sell, because maybe what you're selling at that particular time is not conducive to the community that you're in. And so
go try it.
That's why I say I go to another community.
Yeah, but I thought we was talking about the black community.
Yeah, no. We asked the question. You asked the question, and you say, why go to another community? And I say, why do the other people come into our community? And then you say, well, why not? Blah blah. And I just showed the reverse of the whole situation.
Well, but there's a huge difference. It's a business difference. It's because you will shop with anybody.
I think it's economic.
They won't.
I think it's an economic difference. I think
their decision making is specifically related to, we are not going to shop with black businesses and enrich black people. That's why they don't buy with you.
But at the same time, and the other side of the coin, you know, I deal with both sides of the coin all the time. The very same people that say that will come into the black community and try to sell everything that they have.
Because you buy.
That makes
sense.
That's my whole point. That's why we're going to
that.
If
you notice, white folk, even if you go to predominantly white communities, they usually won't shop with Indians or anyone else. That's why they come to your community, because that's where the business is at.
That's where the money is. That's where they're gonna make it. Yeah. See, that's my saying.
That's what business should do. Is go where the money is, not where the color is, where the money is.
Brother, we saying the same thing. We saying the same thing, just in a different way. We saying the same thing.
But I don't covet their communities.
We're saying the same thing, just in a different way. Now, let me go. What's on your heart, brother? Sheedo, that's shaking his head. What's really going on?
I wasn't shaking my head. I was listening. It was intriguing conversation, and I was, I was hearing Leonard out. It's basic economics. One of the things that he was saying was people like the Chinese, the Arabs, they come into our community, set up shop. Why? Because they're offering product that we're buying. So it makes sense. If they're going to be successful in business, if we continue to patronize their establishments and spend money in their businesses, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, that's what business is all about. I was just listening to what he was saying. The thing that was on my heart is that it all comes back to when you talk about the solution and how do you overcome and how do you get to where you need to get to. You can't have that discussion without God. I think it always comes back to that central point. We need Christ. The brother earlier was talking about not having purpose, even though we may gain these wisdoms, this practical knowledge of how to do things, but if we don't know who we are and what the purpose is, it still turns into selling drugs. I forgot who was talking about that. It may have been Rico. But it's about knowing who you are and having purpose, and that comes from God. I was telling people earlier, and I don't mean I'm not trying to chase a rabbit trail, but it begs to mention what we're going through right now. The whole Black Lives Matter and the systemic racism and the racial divide and all of that, and reparations, everything that are talking points, all of the proposed solutions. At the end of the day, you can incorporate everything. You can give Black people reparations. You can completely eradicate systemic racism. You can improve the education in the communities and the housing and the police system completely reformed. You can do everything that we're asking for. And after that, the question is, now what?
Exactly.
We will still be exposed for the people that we have become and who we are. At that point, we are going to be faced with ourselves. What are we going to do about Black America? Because we're pointing the finger at all of these other things that where we say the problem is, instead of pointing at ourselves and say that we have to improve as a people. Right. And that starts with your relationship with God. We need to connect with Christ to get ourselves healed, to get ourselves together and built up to be who God has called for us to be.
Absolutely. And with that, we're gonna finish our second square and go into our third square. And Rico, are you with us? I think Rico's on the phone line with us. Rico, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, good deal. Rico, I'm gonna come to you with the third square and I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, I'm gonna preface it by saying this right here. Somebody told me one time that the sweetest, most dangerous thing, he said the sweetest, most dangerous thing that he know. Now listen, I got all y'all attention now. He said the sweetest, most dangerous thing he know is a woman. So Rico, let's talk about both sides of a woman. Can she be the sweetest and can she also be the most dangerous? What do you say to that? She's shaking his head.
Oh
yes.
Yeah, that's up to the type of woman she is and what her goals are. Yeah, she can be the sweetest, most powerful support system, or she could be the most damaging, destructive. She could break you down, especially if she learns your weaknesses and she has the wrong intentions. And They can be both sugar and spice. They could be what they call habanero peppers, ghost peppers.
God almighty.
They could be brown sugar, you know.
Yeah. So you would agree that she is the sweetest, most dangerous thing you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm.
In my experience, and I mean, and that's why it's so important for you to be able to discern of the type of woman that you do get with, because we have to understand that they are out there. We have some women with intentions of being gold diggers, or you know, they might have a real bad Jezebel spirit in them, and they just want to run through your family. They want to know about you, your brothers, and your cousins, but you don't know that, you know. And she may be college educated, maybe, you know, very successful financially, but she still has that physical, carnal urge that she can't get rid of. So you have to really be able to discern people, and then also know them. Because what I learned from experience is that sometimes you meet people with a history that you don't know anything about that makes who they are, and if you don't know anything about them, that learning curve will be something serious.
Absolutely. Leonard,
sir,
the sweetest, most dangerous thing I know. What are the two sides? Tell me both sides of a woman.
Well, I think it is what it is. And women, you have to be a real strong man to handle them. And if you ain't, you're going to get taken for everything you got.
So this ain't no puppy run. You got to be a big dog. You got to be a real dog.
That really separates the men from the boys. It'll teach you a big lesson. A big lesson. And one of the things I can tell I benefited from in my family is strong men. And those men were so strong because those women were strong as well.
Yeah. So they had to be.
So everybody can catch it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody laying down for nobody. We'll fight like cats and dogs. Every man for himself.
Wow. Good deal. Donald, the sweetest, most dangerous thing I know. Tell me, Donald, two songs, both sides of a woman.
Adam said, "This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh."
Come on.
And then he said, "That woman you gave me."
Okay.
I can't do nothing with that.
And nothing changed since the garden.
Okay. All right.
I love that Tucson. I love the way Tucson said it better. Ain't nothing changed since the garden.
We're gonna leave that right there. Let me keep this thing going. Sherrod, you with us?
Yes, sir. I'm still there.
Okay, I need to know, man. The sweetest, most dangerous thing I know. Tell me the two sides of a woman.
Oh, Lord. Sugar and spice and everything nice.
Come on.
And fire and metal. And feet on the pedal.
Good Lord. And feet on the pedal. Man, what the women done done to y'all, man? Hold on. Somebody got to say something. Man, she, come on, help me. Pull this thing together, she. The sweetest, most dangerous thing I know. She, tell me the two sides of a woman.
Man, I love what Tucson said. Within a matter of a couple chapters, we saw both extremes, man. That woman then drove Adam crazy.
And on his way to hell.
Yeah, right. Woman and drove him from being in a place with God to being completely banished.
Put him out the garden.
From the presence of God because of the woman.
Come
God
on.
said, you know what? Get away from me. But look, Proverbs 14:1 says, every wise woman buildeth her house. Every wise woman buildeth her house. Right? And then it says, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
Keep going, keep going, keep going for a minute.
When you consider the two extremes, that it is really a decision that the woman makes. The woman is our support. The woman is our help. The woman can decide to undergird us and cause us to be successful, or the woman can decide to dog us and cause us to be utter failures.
Right.
The key is that woman. That's why the Bible says, man, it's better to dwell in the corner of a rooftop
Right.
than with a contentious woman. I mean, God knows that they're the key because they're our support. They're the ones who undergird us. They're the ones who holds our hands up so that we can continue to battle, man. So it's so imperative in the selection process when we're looking for a wife that we find. The scripture says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
Did it say girlfriend? Did it say girlfriend?
It didn't say girlfriend. And this is something for the women. What God is saying in that scripture is that you become a wife before you get married. Because that man has to find you in your wife state. And that's when he says you're a good thing and you obtain favor from the Lord when you find that wife. See, God makes you a wife, and then he causes the man to find you. And if you're not a wife and that man selects you, then that man could be in for some trouble because you have the ability to build him up or to continue or to completely destroy you and pluck you down. So we got to be careful with that selection process, man.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Let me go to Aaron. What do you say to that, man? Sweetest, most dangerous thing I know. Aaron, tell me the two sides of a woman.
Well, I had to first let me stop laughing at what they were talking about, flesh of my flesh, and then went and turned back around and said, that woman you get. Oh man, that was funny. But ironically, I'm over here holding my newborn daughter in my arms. I'm like, oh God, no, not this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, the two sides of a woman, man, and I mean, just like there's two sides to a man. You got the enduring side, you got the nurturing side, you got the loving side, you got the caring side. You got the side that everybody desires. When they think of a mate, you think of those qualities that you want. Even physical qualities, the nice smile, the hair done, the eyes, to make you, when she looks at you, makes you feel like you're the strongest brother in the world, but then turn back around and make her mad, and them same eyes looking at you like you're the dumbest dude in the world.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
So, but you got to keep in mind that, God put that woman here to be your helpmeet, and what we have to do as men, and I'm gonna get real, might get a little too real for some, but I'm gonna get real. Men, we got to get past the chest and the hips, and we got to find out what is behind those eyes of hers. What's between those ears of hers?
You scared me for a minute.
Her heart.
You scared me for a minute there when you say we got to get past this and the hips, and then you start talking about the behind. All, oh Lord, where he about to go?
No, I'm saying, but we got to get, because the thing about it is, I mean, men, we motivated by what we see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If she's walking down and she got the hips, and brothers looking, saved or unsaved. Now, the difference between the saved man and the unsaved man is how many times you look. Because the unsaved man will generally go back for that second look. And I heard a pastor say this himself. The first look, cool. The second look, that's the one that gets you in trouble. And if you go past second, bro, you too far gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So look past that and look at what's in her heart. what's in her mind. What are her goals and her aspirations? You know, yeah, she may look good and all that, but you know, how many broke Instagram models out there?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. You know, you got, you know, now there's some other entrepreneurs out there and ladies out there. There's some Instagram, there's some women out there who are legitimate business women. Yeah. You know, there's a woman out there right now, her and her sister, they product line killing it. They work for $1.4 million. Both of them. But you got Tiffany in the hood who don't know no better, trying to do what she do. And the only thing she getting is hearts on her Instagram page. No money whatsoever. So find out where her mind is, where her heart is. What's her story? How far does she want to go? What ambition does she have? Then you're finding your help me.
Exactly. Tucson, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? You done said that, and that woman, you look at Leonard laughing already. Leonard already laughing, man. Hey, look, you ain't even said nothing, brother. Go ahead.
No, I think it was Rashid said something about being on the rooftop. I could just see a bunch of fellas just sitting on the roof,
smoking cigarettes.
It's not just the rooftop. It's the corner of the rooftop.
He about to fall off the roof. He about to fall off the roof in the rain with his slippers on. In his
Lord, my Jesus, boy, look at she. Go ahead, she. I ain't, man. Y'all wide open. This is third square, y'all. Y'all know this is third square. Go ahead though. She.
Oh, I didn't know you called me.
Yes, sir. What's on your heart, brother?
I don't really have nothing else to add.
The corner of the edge of the corner of the roof, huh?
But you know, I thank God for. I got to give a shout out to my wife, Mrs. Ebony Jeffries. She is the opposite of that. She is the epitome of Proverbs 31. And I thank God for it. You know, you could definitely tell the difference, and she makes the difference in me. And it's blessed myself as well as my children, my family.
Let me say something to you, she, and what you're saying is absolutely true. I know your wife, man. So what you're saying is absolutely true. But I need to ask you a question, though, brother. Did she just come in the room or something? Because
I knew you thought that. I knew you thought that. But look, she's been in the room ever since before I've been on this broadcast because she's always on my mind.
Look at that brother trying to get some sugar. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead, boy.
Hey, that's how the Detroit. That's how the Detroit boys got to talk to their wives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about.
She ain't never left the room. She ain't got to come in the room.
Good deal. Hey, look here, and I'm actually going back to Cornelius right now. I'm asking the same question, man. Both sides of a woman, the sweetest, most dangerous thing you know. Is that true? What are the both sides of a woman, Cornelius?
You know, Abraham, I also, when I get done with this, I got to get ready to get back to the grind, bro.
Oh man, come on now. I appreciate you.
I gotta get back to work, man. Hey, but let me say this. The sweet side. The sweet side is that affectionate side. But that side that we really don't like to talk about is that emotional manipulation side. And why do I say that? It's funny we talking about this because I just taught Sunday school this past Sunday dealing with Samson and Delilah. Now let's go back to that for a second. 3 times Samson got away from the Philistines, but that 4th time when she told him, she said, "I thought you loved me." That's that emotional manipulation. And then what did he do? He laid his head in her lap and went to sleep. And they shaved his head. And when it was all said and done with, it left him blind, broken, and suicidal. He took his life. So what am I saying that for? it can get to the point that where if you allow the emotional manipulation get to you, it eventually will destroy you. So you got to stand strong in who you are as a man. Stand on your strength and know without a shadow of a doubt, enjoy the affectionate side, return the affection back. Because that's the sweetest thing that you could ever receive from a woman. And I'm telling you, man, I don't know about you brothers, but those that's married and that's been dating, I know when you first met your wives or whatever, it's nothing like holding hands and kissing in public and just showing affection towards your woman. And when she's showing it back, hugged up with you, got her arm in your her head in your chest, and you don't mind putting your head in her lap. It's nothing about that affection towards your woman and just holding her. But when it gets to the point where you got some women that will use that emotional manipulation, there is a plan behind it. So you got to be careful, and that's the dangerous thing. So God bless you, fellas. I got to get back to the grind, man.
Hey, love
you,
brother.
Raheem.
Love you as well, brother. Rico.
All right.
Yep.
Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I'm just listening and tuning in, man. It all over this clicking. I like when he brought that up about Samson and Delilah, and it sort of goes back to what I was saying earlier. You know, we really have to just be real patient and look at the heart and the character of that person, the consistency for once. You know, we see any bad traits. A lot of times we don't pay attention to traits, and we'll let traits get past us because we're looking at other things that's more inviting. Or maybe we just have the urge to want to be in a relationship. You know, I'm just ready to get married and settle down. I think it's about that time. And sometimes we may push ourselves to get to that ultimate goal, not looking at the bigger picture of, okay, after I tie the knot with this woman, she's still gonna catch these attitudes about me leaving the seat up. You know, or she's still gonna have a headache at certain times, but I ain't never got no headache. You still gonna have to deal with some of these flaws that you're willing to look past because you got either you want her so bad, or maybe you just want to be married so bad. So it's like, what really are the intentions on either side? But if you know you're getting married for the right reason, then I think most of the time you will look at the woman and pick the right woman for the right reason.
Exactly.
Any other reason, you probably gonna get married for the wrong reason. If you just rushing into it, it's because you like her. She look good. She hot. She got a name. Same thing with a woman. He make good money. He's known. All the women love him or whatever. You know, people like being close to somebody that is somebody. So there's so many different aspects that can cause a person to want to get married. But I feel like if you're doing it for the right reason and you know the real purpose of what a union is for, then you will search for the right person.
Hey, look at here. I was ready to go to Tucson, but he having too much fun over there, man. I can't go to that brother right now.
Come on, man. Let me just say that. Why we don't ever have a headache?
Look at that. See what I'm saying? Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Leonard, and I saw you read what you put in that post over there, Leonard. Don't you do it, brother.
Okay. I was listening to what the other brother was saying, and you know me, I'm big on these cliches, and he was talking about the toilet seat situation. And I think me and my wife had a conversation many, many years ago. And I was like, if you don't take your behind in there, tell you what, you better look first or you're going to be wet. You heard me?
Oh,
now
Lord,
you come in here talking to me about that toilet seat again. Don't mess all this up over no freaking toilet seat. Don't be foolish. You can't be in a marriage and just be stupid. You know what I'm saying? You got to have respect for one another. It's supposed to be free in your marriage. You're supposed to enjoy one another or what have you. Now, people always say to me, and I don't know what the magic thing is. I've been married 21 years. I'm not having no fights and all that, none of that. I don't do that. That's just not my character with my woman. That's not it. So I never really understood when people say, we just couldn't get along. Well, why couldn't you get along? Well, why did you get married? If you couldn't get along, why did you get married? What happened? Or people like my wife will be around other women and they'll be talking a certain way, right? They'll be doing that woman thing. You know what my wife will say? Oh, I see why y'all ain't got nobody. Listen at your attitude. What make you think a man want to come home to that? The quickest way to ruin any relationship is not be friendly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not be courteous. Not be kind.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear people talking about, man, this, that, and the other, like I was married before for about 5 years. And you know, I'll tell people I've never had a bad relationship. They say, didn't you used to get divorced? Well, I mean, that wasn't a bad relationship. It was just better off that we were not together.
Mm-hmm.
The bad days outweighed the good days. You know what I'm saying? So we have to really understand, and we have to be more insistent. We got to do more courting. Okay, we got to get in each other's business before we get in each other's drawers. Y'all walking around here talking about the Lord this, the Lord that, and couldn't wait to get in them drawers. Okay, I mean it is what it is. Don't get holy at the altar.
Boy, y'all or something else. Man, I wish everybody that's watching.
She knows she not wearing no white dress to it. You understand? You know, we grown.
Well, hush your fuss. Why
now,
she not?
The only difference I can say about me and my wife's relationship is that I was very, very much upfront.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I ain't got nothing to hide. This is what I'm doing. Blah blah blah. You know. But what I'm gonna always do is treat you right. That's what I'm gonna always do. I ain't never treated you no less, have I? So I'm not gonna start. I want you to be with me, and the best way to keep you with me is to be nice to you.
Good
and
deal.
That's what I'm going to do. If nothing else, I'm not gonna raise my voice at my woman like that. I'm not gonna go after her ignorant. Or put whatever them white folk, you know how folks say, you know, like as if this is a reason the world's so rough and this, that, and the other. That don't give you the right to go home and take that out on your wife. That's your safe place.
Exactly.
So you have to think about that when you're choosing a woman to be with. You know, we all know them women that we just want to see at the hotel and we don't want them in our house. It's like I said about I'm not happy with women's reality TV. Yeah, you be nice to jump up and down on a couple weekends, but I don't want you in my house.
Let me do this. Let me pull somebody else into the conversation. As a matter of fact, right now, what I want to do, I'm gonna read something, and we're gonna go to our fourth square. We got one more square to cover tonight, and this is from the Minister OJs. Minister OJs. They did something a couple of years ago, talking about the woman, and I said, my friend said, the sweetest, most dangerous thing he know. But this the OJ's version of it. I'm gonna read 2 verses, and it starts off like this. It says, you're the sweetest thing I know. You dim the rainbow's glow. There's no power on this earth to separate us, baby. And then he goes on and say, when it rains on my parade, you were there to light my way. You're rare as a rose in winter. You're more than I deserve. That's Sunshine by Minister OJ. Y'all know Minister OJ. They minister down there at the other church.
He about wasn't no good. He wasn't no good. He probably wasn't no good.
She, what's on your heart, man? We got 1 minute. She wrap us up so we can go to this 4th square.
Oh man, you gave me 1 minute, so I'm about to make Leonard mad.
Make me mad.
Listen, I gotta speak for those who may have been listening to my big brother Leonard when he said that we should just be kind and we should be nice, and that goes a long way. To which I would say, amen. Totally agree with that. But let me also say, if you heard him at the beginning when he suggested that he doesn't let that toilet seat down, I would say, if we're going to be kind, if we're going to be nice
and generous,
we got to be servants. So that means that we got to be considerate as the man of the house, as the leader of the house. We need to be the leaders in love. We need to be the leaders in kindness. We need to show the example. We need to be the models of that.
Yes.
So if I'm going to choose who's going to leave the toilet seat up or down,
who is
it's going to be me leaving that toilet seat down.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
gonna sacrifice it. I'm not gonna put the burden on her to lift that toilet to put the toilet seat down. I'm gonna put the burden on me, the
on
head,
you.
the leader of love,
the leader of
put
love.
that toilet seat down so that I can pull it up.
You can pull it up.
Let me pull it up.
Hold on, brother. Now you say pull it up. You talking about the toilet seat, right? You talking about the toilet
seat? Yeah, the toilet seat.
Okay, okay. Now I'm back. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something funny.
Yes, sir.
Because what Rashid said about that toilet says it ain't gonna worry me. But then I did not know that women piss in the dark.
They do.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they do.
I did not know that.
And a lot of times,
hold on. Everybody, mirror, baby girl. Cover your ears, baby girl. Cover your ears. Hold on. We're gonna take a turn. Hold on, baby girl here. Y'all hold on, man. Y'all hold on. Mirror, cover your ears, baby. I didn't know they were gonna talk about stuff like this, baby.
I mean, this real men. This is real men being men.
Okay, but Lord, my Jesus, Lord, my
Jesus. This ain't for the faint at heart. Man know how they go to the bathroom. You know.
Hey, I had to take that into consideration. Now, I'm not saying I do it just to raise hell. But if I should forget, I'm not finna argue with you about that toilet. I'll try to do it next time. But don't, every time I go in, every time I go in there, I gotta make sure everything is the way I need it, right?
Yeah.
Before I put my tail down, I don't sit in the bowl. So why you sitting in the bowl? I don't help me.
Okay, look.
Hold on. I got a way to fix all that.
Take the seat cover off.
No. She got to pull up every time. She understands what we going through every time. She wants us to put down. Just put both seats down. So she got to pull up every time she go.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Lord, my Jesus, boy, y'all at it tonight. Look, we got one more square. We got Donna today been right. Donna ain't been right for 45 minutes.
He ain't been right ever since Genesis when he talked about the woman that you gave.
Man, he been mad. Look at now. Look at that. Lord. We got exactly. We got one more square. We got one more square. Man, and the phone lines are open 678-381-1973, 678-381-1973. I'm gonna go to Aaron. I'm gonna start this square off with you, brother. You there? Aaron, you there? Aaron, unmute your phone, brother. We can't hear you. Okay, we won't go to Aaron. We'll go to somebody else. Who we gonna start this square off with? Let's go to Rico. Rico, you there? Rico, you there? Oh, go to Donald. Start off with Donald. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead. I got a request that we started seeing off with Donald too.
Yeah. Let's let Donald get it because he might black out on us later. Let Tucson get it.
Exactly. Donald, I'm gonna ask you this question. What story would the clock tell about you?
Oh, tick, tick, tick. Time is running out, buddy.
But see, in everything that's happened in your life it's been an element of time, and the clock has been a witness to everything that's happened in your life.
And I say that jokingly, and I say this, I don't have much time left. Time is running out. Foolishness, games. I joke and clown. I love having fun. The worst thing I've ever seen is a Christian that can't smile and have fun and live to its fullest and always got this serious look on their face. But I'm out of time. I don't have time for foolishness. I don't have time for fake folks. I don't fool with them. People that's high-minded, I don't care for them either. A lot of what I see now, and I really understand what's happening in the land that we live on what matters and what doesn't matter. But we play on words.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time for that.
Mm-hmm.
The clock is running out. We might as well look around the corner. Matter of fact, blink your eyes and it already be over. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
You better be ready for the change.
Come on, come on.
You can waste the time if you want to, but it's decision time.
Mm-hmm.
You can do whatever you want, but now is the time or the opportunity that you have to accept the reality of serving a true and a living God.
Absolutely.
You can go on with your life and do what you want to if you want to, but you gonna be in darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And where you gonna be when the lights go out?
Mm-hmm. See, Donna, you're doing good when you talk about when the lights go out, brother. I don't know where you on know where you went with that, but listen.
Yeah, I mean, you hear what I'm saying is.
No, I'm just picking. I heard you, but my thing is this. Let me ask you.
Bright young. You're bright young.
Let me ask you a question, Don. Let me ask you a question. Donald Toussaint, man, did you have a good time tonight?
I enjoyed myself, man. I'm matter of fact, I'm just glad that I don't have to stand on the edge of the rooftop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rico, what story would the clock?
Yes, sir. What's up?
What story would the clock tell about your life?
The clock would tell me that I don't play it around and wasted enough time. Now it's time for me to utilize my full potential and achieve my greatness and help as many people as I can while the time is left, because I've been seeing the problems going on long enough. Now it's time for me to stop contributing to them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Sherrod, what story would the clock tell about you?
Well, I think the clock would say that every good thing that has taken place in my life has happened as a matter of a decision of time, and every bad thing is a matter of decision of time. I can't, at every point in my life, I can never look back at the past to dictate what I'm going to do for the future. That I have to use the time that I have left to represent the Lord, to do what He wants me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I have. That's all I have. I don't have my past time. All I have is my present time.
Good deal. Good deal. Mary, what would the clock tell about your life?
That is a good question there.
I sure appreciate it. Thank you. Every now and then I get a good one in. Every now and then I get a good one in.
This is true. I think I'll just say mine isn't done yet. I'm still pretty young, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
That is
So TikTok still moving, huh?
very much so.
Good deal. Good deal. Leonard,
sir,
what did the clock say? What story would the clock tell about your life?
Well, I think mostly, it's strange for me because I'm a strange person.
Mm-hmm.
I've accepted that.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much more I could have had. I could have done.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that my latter will be greater.
Come on.
For like Toussaint. See,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type of person who, and I'm going to be 50 in March. And so I have a great respect for older Black men. 60, 70 years old.
Yes, sir.
Been through all this mess, and you still can stand on your own 2 feet, laugh and joke. You still got your family. Those are the men that I respect. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, even though I grew up the way I did, there's people from all different walks of life. but everybody respected everybody. If you walked in my people place and you was a doctor, you got to respect that dude that's a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We don't play favorites or whatever. Those who choose to do better, do better. Those who do not accept what they have.
Yeah.
No man is greater than another.
Mm-hmm.
Respect everybody. So that's what I've been trying to do. Sometimes I look back and I'm praying about it now. There are some things that I've been through in my life that have been extremely difficult, but you know what? God has just pushed all that away. I can't even tell you how hard it was, but I don't remember. I don't remember. You know, I've been to school, got degrees and everything. Went through a lot, but I just simply I don't hang on to bad times.
Yeah.
I don't reminisce about bad times. If I was so lucky enough to make it, like I have been, I'm just thankful. And that's why I laugh a lot. I'm like Toussaint. I'd rather laugh, joke, and have fun than anything.
Yeah.
You know, I make Christians real mad because I'm not into pretending about nothing. When I want me a drink, you can talk about your Bible all you want. When I want to do whatever I want to do, we're gonna be in the same line, partner. Okay, so don't think you so as preacher used to say, Bishop used to say, such a much that that you gonna escape judgment just because you know you got your little collar and all that on and this, that, and the other. What your clock gonna say? Exactly. I'm just glad we here. I'm glad I'm here with y'all this evening. I'm just that happy from day to day. It's just that crazy from day to day, from glory to glory, from blessing to blessing.
Absolutely. We have another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Bishop, man. How's everybody?
Bishop. That's my man, Bishop.
Doing good. Bishop, I want to ask you the question. What story would the clock tell about you?
Man, the clock would basically say that this man gave his life to help others. That's it. My love, you know what? I love people so much, and in spite of who they are, and I even love my enemies. And I do know who my enemies are. That's the best part about it, and I still love them. But I'm still willing to help to every instance as I possibly can. But I'm gonna tell you, my boy Leonard again is on fire, man. This dude he is real. He is 100%, and you can't help but love this cat. And talking about he'll be 50. I'm like, man, he's just a baby. Goodness gracious.
No, man, ain't no baby.
Grow up. I need to grow up, Bishop. I need to grow up.
That joker old, man. Don't
bro. You good. You good. Wisdom and truthfulness, man. And that's what I really love. You know, I'm sitting here listening to you guys, man, before I called in. I'm sending messages, tick tock, because the life we live, and my son preached the message, and I've been preaching it ever since. He said, there's a sunrise and a sunset, but what did you do with your dash? Did you help others? What did you do with your dash? And that's when you ask the question. I try to equate anything and everything I do is not all together for me. And I think Leonard said this in a past conversation. He does what he can to help those who can't help themselves. He's sometimes the voice for those who can't speak up. And he's not afraid to speak up and speak out. And those are the type of leaders that we need in our world today. Those who are not afraid to speak up and speak out. Those who are willing to give of themselves so that others may have. And he and I have the same mindset. You know how I am. And I was talking. Much kudos go to Dr. King.
Yes, indeed.
When you brought up Dr. King today in the earlier message and talking about Dr. King said, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and Leonard said, hey, Dr. King is dead. He told the God honest truth. We appreciate what he did and being a martyr to whatever end. But where are we now? We can't take that same approach. We can't come with that same mindset. Now, what am I going to do? Are we going to stand by idly and just let people continue to do what we do and say, well, let's just pray? I'm going to pray. I'm going to praise. And Leonard, can you say it for me? IGH, put the T on the end.
Good deal. Good. Let's keep this thing going. I want to go to right now. Aaron, are you back with us?
Yeah, man, I'm back.
Okay. What story would the clock tell about your life, Aaron?
Short and sweet. Love the family, love the Lord.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. She. What story would that clock tell about your life, brother?
Hey man, the clock don't qualify to tell my story. Clock can't tell my story. Because this is what I'm shooting for. This is what I strive for. For me to be at that place where I'm not in the temporal. I want to live in the eternal. I want to live where time has no say. While I'm in time, not giving heed to time, but living in that space. See, because we're in Christ, and Christ is in eternity, which is much greater than time. I want time to be confused. Like, well, I thought he was here, but he's really, wait a minute, he's over there. Well, no, time don't qualify. Time doesn't have the authority to tell my story because my story is in Christ. And so it supersedes time. Time is inside of Christ. It's temporary, man. One day the earth and heaven, the earth is going to pass away, but eternity is going to remain. And that's the place that I try to get to that place. That's my goal all the time. I'm laboring to enter into his rest, which is in Christ, which is that place that supersedes time. Time does not dictate. Time is not my boss. I am the boss of time. Time is not the boss of me. So that's my goal. That's what I strive for in Christ. Whereas my story is going to be timeless. It's going to be eternal. I'm trying to build a legacy that's going to outlast time. I'm trying to make sure that time respects me more than I respect time.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart right now?
Oh, you trying to get me back on that one? Hey, like I said the first time, man. I just feel like I only know the only life I know of is this. And I feel like if I was talking to Father Time, he would tell me the same thing. So far right now, Rico, you looking through the eyes of only thing you know, for sure. So you got to make the best out of it. Push it to the end because everybody got to see it in one day. So what I got to do is try to make my best out of it, like I said, and try to make some changes. See something better than what I saw when I came in here.
That's good. That's good. Tucson, let me ask you this question. If you could speak to the clock and go back to any point, you don't have to say what it is, or you certainly don't have to say a name. But if you could speak to the clock and say, take me back to this time, I want to forgive somebody or be forgiven by somebody. Could you name a time?
You know what? And here you go with that going behind the veil again. In my it's kind of like getting on a mountain with a sack full of feathers in the wind, and you can never retrieve them all. So we live in, some of us live in the life that we've learned from errors, either from ourselves or somebody else. So I can't do nothing with time. I can only go forward. Here's what I have. I have right now. Forward. Nothing else. I take advantage of what I do have, and I don't have control of that. I just have to submit to. And if I don't, then I am subject to repeat. You understand what I mean?
Come on.
Yeah. If we don't watch out, we'll repeat some of the same things over and over and over again. Going through the wilderness for 40 years, whether it took a couple of days to get where you're going.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's keep this thing going. Bishop, what do you say to that? If you could go back and if you could speak to the clock and go back in time where you could forgive or be forgiven by someone without calling out their name or anything like that, because we're certainly not going to put the name out there, what would you do? Would there be a time that you would like to go back to?
No. No. If there's anything I've done to anybody, I've already repented to them and I've moved on. There's no time that I would go back.
Okay. That's good. That's good. She, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I have no regrets, man. All things work together for the good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. Who's to say that I go back, hypothetically speaking, because we're speaking hypothetical, but you go back and you could change the course of everything that happened. I mean, everything happened for a reason. I learned from it. I take pride in that. When I make a mistake, when I make a bad decision, I learn from it. And guess what? I'm better for it because it builds me up and makes me a better man. God is training me. He's teaching me. He's molding me. He's shaping me. And he used that negative experience in that process of molding me and shaping me. And I'm thankful for that. You see these grays, you know, and that's another thing. I'm probably the youngest person on this panel, but young is relative. You know, I remember back in the day when 30 was old. When I got 30, the bar was moved. Now 40 is old. And 50 is old. And I'm like, at what point? Because people always want to claim to be young, man. You know, they 74 years old talking about I'm young. And then you got some cat that's 85 talking about you wet behind the ears. No, man, if you 74, you old. I don't care what what point we admit that we old. I think it's at the point where Leonard is, where he talking about he 49. 50, man, no matter how you slice it. I know some of y'all older than 50, and relatively speaking, you think it's wet behind the ears. No, by the time you 50,
you ought to have it figured out.
You old, man. You just been through some life.
Yes.
But yeah, so I forgot where I was going with it. I started talking about I heard somebody call Leonard wet behind the ears, and I'm like, man, he about, you know,
it's dust back there now, ain't it? Dust behind the beard.
It ain't wet no more. By the time you 50.
Yeah.
I think that you know, I don't even know what I was about to say. Okay. I tried to get it back, but I lost it. What was the question again? Because I want to summarize my thought.
No. We're good, man. We're going to get out of here, man. We're about to get out of here, man. Look, don't be pointing. Hey, hold on. Let me go to Mary. Mary, what's on your heart right now? Look at Donna down there. Look at Donna having a good time, boy. Donna enjoying himself. Mary, are you there?
I am here.
What's on your heart right now?
I'm just listening along.
Okay. You okay?
I'm dandy. How are you?
Doing absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now let me have your closing. Anything you'd like to say in your closing?
I would just like to say that I love you all and have a good night.
Love you as well. Love you as well. Bishop, in your closing.
Always thankful for the opportunity to come before these great, first of all, the great Raheem.
Man, go ahead with that mess, man.
And, brother, to God be the glory.
Yes, sir.
The topics that you come up with. I'm ever thankful. I don't know where in the world to come from, but I just want to give you that. And the great host of panels that men that get on here to talk, Donald, Leonard, I was impressed with Rico today. He said some stuff, man, that really blew my mind. And, you know, I'm always thankful and I may not call everybody, but I just, you know, I'm thankful to what I hear and what I learn.
She said, what about him? She said, what about him? Man, you forget me, man. He jumped up and down. He jumped up and down tomorrow. Hey, Raheem. Go ahead, bitch. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're in that too, brother. You're in that too. Hey, that's where you get messed up when you start calling the name.
Layla, he said,
was I getting ready to say?
He waved me off. He said, nah, too late now.
hey, look, Raheem, what was I getting ready to say, man?
In your closing, brother. In your clothes, whatever in your clothes, bro. You can start your new one if you want to, man. You know.
Man, love y'all, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right, love you as well, bro. Rico, in your closing.
Hey, first off, I want to say, man, I appreciate you, Raheem, for inviting me to stuff like this, man. And this is more confirmation to me that I was supposed to be in greater company. Y'all prove it even more. You prove it. God. Leonard, you're a time, man. I ain't gonna call you a time, but you're an atomic bomb, man. You just blow my mind. I mean, like, he said all the stuff that I want to say. You know what I'm saying? But y'all, what it's doing is y'all are improving me, inspiring me to be better, improve, and to keep going forward.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to, let all of y'all know that I appreciate that, man, because all of y'all are like, I consider y'all levels above me right now, just listening to y'all.
Man, look here. We're looking for you next week now. We do this every week, every Tuesday. We're looking for you next week.
Raheem.
Yes, sir.
Please forgive me. You know, I don't know I'm to do this. Rico, what about me, man? What about him?
I mean, hey, this is my first time hearing you, man. I got to get used to your name. I talked to Raheem and I see Dawn on that. Dawn or something serious too, but I know about them three. I'm just hearing your name. This is my first time, but you were dropping some dudes too, man. All of you. I said all.
He said all. He said stop trying to be individually based. He said all. Now why all of a sudden you gotta be individual? You gotta be individual now. Let's keep this.
Yo, that recognition. We gotta fix that angle.
Exactly. Aaron, in your closing, sir.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, man, I thank the Lord for everything. I mean, that COVID-19 is real.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through it. I started having symptoms on June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Got tested on June 8th. Was told I was positive on June 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Retested on June 24th. And was told on June 29th I'm negative. Take that thing seriously, man. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get so spiritually conceited that you don't think that a virus can sit you on your behind for a little while.
Yeah.
But during that time, man, I just promised the Lord that I wouldn't take nothing for granted.
Yes, sir.
I don't take, I thank the Lord for my beautiful wife because she held the house down by herself.
Yes, sir.
For 29 days. 29 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we were talking about the two sides of the woman, I got to see the good side.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So, it took me from wondering why I married her to thank God I did.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I will share my testimony later, but we about to get off this phone. But but everybody, man, stay prayed up, stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don, in your closing.
Yes, sir. I just want to thank Raheem for inviting me to come on the show, and I really thank you for the continued encouragement of all the gentlemen. Guys, man, appreciate your brothers, man. Really do. And I just thank you for the wisdom that God's given you. And I'll keep on fighting on and walking down the highway.
Absolutely. Leonard, in your closing, sir.
Man, it's always good to be with y'all on this evening. Y'all don't know how much you keep me grounded and focused. And I mean, it's just a blessing to always be in the company of good men. And for, like I always tell you, I pick on Raheem because for whatever reason, the Lord allowed me to meet you. There's definitely a reason.
Yes, sir.
Always,
yes, sir.
For the very simple fact on how I make moves and things like that. But God constantly wants me to be here. Even when I have bad days, I look forward to being on DKM.
Yes, sir. Praise
Trust
God.
me, each and every, because you know me, if I'm not there, something's going on, something like that, or what have you. But I would just like to tell people that, especially those who are listening, who may be afraid of Christianity or what have you, my walk has been so easy because of Christianity. Not because I haven't had bad times, but I've been able to get through them and overcome them. So it's never arrogant or anything. It's always never taking for granted the grace that Rashid was talking about.
Yes.
Because God could have killed me a long time ago. I deserved it. But for some reason, I'm living every day and he's keeping me alive for some reason and some purpose. I don't have a clue. All I know is that I go back to the prophet Isaiah. Them coals was put in my mouth.
Come on.
So I can't help it. For whatever failures I may have, like I always refer to my father, who was very young, and he died at 41, and he was a preacher. My father was a preacher and alcoholic. Despite every problem you have in your life, you owe God, and you must pay what you owe. If it's great he gave us Christ, but do something for somebody else, man.
Yes,
like
sir.
Bishop. That's why I love Bishop so much, and what he says, and why he was on my spirit when I got up in this morning, because he has taken hold of the reins himself. He's every public servant type position or whatever. He dedicated himself to that. To me, I mean, where else can you do? Where else can you go? We talked about success and failure. That's success to me. Taking responsibility, standing up for what's right, shielding the weak. That's what we should be doing.
Yes, sir.
That's what we should be doing. So I hope, everybody bless your families and what have you. Let your hair down. Let your hair down.
Man, you trying to be funny. You know I ain't got no hair, man.
Enjoy your life.
Man, you know I ain't got no hair. Why you trying to be funny, man? You
Go get your, we'll have Anna hook you up with a wig.
Lord, my Jesus. She in your clothing.
God bless everybody, man. This is always a blessing for me. Looking forward to getting off of here because I got a date with my daughter and my wife and my other kid, mainly my daughter, my oldest. She'll be 19 this month. And she really wants to sit down and watch that movie Hamilton, that play Hamilton with me. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I have not, but I keep hearing rave reviews about it. So I'm excited about going and spending that time with my family and in front of the TV and watching that close to 3-hour event. So but I had to come on here first.
Are we gonna break it up into segments?
Huh?
Are we gonna break it up into segments? 3 hours, man. We're gonna break it up into segments. I
hope I ain't sleep by the end of it, but but that's how important real men being men is. That's how important you guys are to me, because I said no, I have a broadcast to do. So we normally would have gotten started earlier, but because of the broadcast, we're gonna get started after 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we're gonna be up for a minute watching this production, but hey, it's worth it, man. You guys are awesome. I love all of you guys, man. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And I look forward to kicking it with y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 2 songs in your closing, sir.
I was looking for this passage of scripture, and it's 1 Peter 4, and starting at 17, it says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinners appear?" I'll stop right there, brother. We're gonna have to see this thing out.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, for anybody that may say that's just a bunch of folklore and I don't believe all that. Let's see how that work out for you. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Hey, look here. It ain't gonna be good, brother. It ain't gonna be good. Listen, we're about to get out of here. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us.
What you want?
Lord, Donna on the road.
You
Donna is on
want?
the road. Huh?
Hell ain't what you want.
Exactly. It is now 10:06. 10:06. You're about to exit Real Man Being Man. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. And when you get an opportunity, go out there and show somebody some love. And we shine this light on you from Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. Now, don't forget to join us in the morning for the Morning Glow from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can give us a call from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we will talk about it in its entirety. Love you. Y'all have a great evening. I don't know what she doing over there. She got his own thing going. I have no idea what she's doing over there. I have no idea. But listen, we're about to get out of here. Y'all have a great night. Love you. And take an opportunity if you can and love each other. Have a great night. Woo.